Now, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. This has been one of the most difficult years in my life. There were moments I honestly didn't know how things were going to turn around. But even in the chaos, even in the loss, um, even when everything felt like it was falling apart, God showed up with blessings, some expected and some completely unexpected. And those blessings reshaped my life in a powerful way. And so today I want to share with you 5 things I'm most grateful for this year. And I pray it encourages you to see your own blessings, even the ones that don't look like blessings at first. And so let me look at my list here. First and foremost, number one, my mom. She is my anchor, my wisdom, my rock. And this one, is not an unconventional blessing in any way, shape, or form, because she's my mom, and I'm just so blessed that she's in my life. And she's brilliant, she's supportive and wise, and honestly, one of the strongest people that I know. And I'm not just saying that because she's my mom, but she really is freakishly smart, y'all. And she has walked with me through every high and every low this year. And she's done nothing but speak life over situations that looked far from it. And because of her consistency and willingness to speak life is the reason why I'm here right now. And there's so much more that I could say, but if I start this video, is going to end up turning into a whole tribute to her, which I may do say at some point in the future. All right. So expect that. But just know that her relationship with Christ and the Holy Spirit, her prayers, her wisdom, quite frankly, that's what kept me going when everything else around me was incredibly unstable. And so, number two, being grateful for what God removes. So this year, God taught me a very hard but necessary truth. Sometimes a win can come in the form of a loss, or if you will, comes disguised as a loss. So losing my job, losing my condo, losing the things that I thought were secure or necessary or mine to keep. At the time, it literally felt like everything was falling apart. It did. I'm not even going to lie. It felt like my entire world was crashing down. But now I can look back and see that God was removing the things that were blocking my growth. He was teaching me that in order to gain more, you have to be willing to let go. And so that loss forced me to grow, quite frankly. And that loss pushed me out of situations that were quietly draining me. Okay. And they were draining me. That loss prepared me for blessings that I never would have been ready for otherwise. And I didn't know it at the time, but those losses were actually setting the stage for a major shift in my life, which leads me to number three, learning to move when God says move. So let me be real with you for a second right here. Moving from Chicago to North Carolina was not on my 2025 bingo card at all. Okay. Was nowhere in the picture. I didn't plan it. I didn't expect it. And I definitely wasn't sitting around looking for a fresh start. Okay. But when God said go, I went. And y'all, the way this move came together, the people, the resources, the opportunities, the timing, everything I needed was already waiting for me before I even arrived. And I truly do mean that. And I'm going to share a full story of how this all came to be in a future video slash maybe documentary. We'll see, because it really does deserve to be told. And honestly, I'm still praying through exactly how to tell this story, but just know that only God could have orchestrated this series of events that led me to being here. And quite frankly, moving to North Carolina ended up being one of the best decisions. And I cannot stress that enough. One of the best decisions I never planned to make. And the only reason I made it was because God had already taught me blessing number 4. And that is the gift of fighting back. So this year taught me something that I will never forget. I don't need all the answers. I don't need all the answers. I just need to be right, prayed up, and willing to fight. That's it. And so when life hits us, a lot of us freeze, myself included. We overthink things, we get overwhelmed, and then we wait for this perfect clarity before making a move. And that's just not how life operates. But God showed me that He doesn't require perfection, but He does require participation. All right. And so you just need to take the steps that you can take. You need to show that you're willing to stand your ground. You need to fight for your peace, your purpose, your calling, even when you don't have the whole picture. And when God sees that effort, when He sees that willingness, He steps in and He fills in the gaps. Okay. He moves mountains you didn't even know were in the way. And I've seen that time and time again. And that obedience and willingness to fight is what led to the 5th blessing. God restores what the locust took. And so I've watched God restore things in my life this year in real time. Cannot stress that enough. Real time. And so if you knew what I walked through, if you knew what I lost, and if you knew what I left behind, you would be just as in awe as I am of what God has rebuilt. Nothing wasted, nothing lost, nothing forgotten. God restored everything in ways that I never could have imagined. Not because the journey was easy, but because I stayed faithful and because He is faithful. And I'm grateful for the 5 blessings that carried me through this year. And again, just a quick recap. A mother who is truly my rock, the blessings that came from losing things that I thought I couldn't live without, the courage to move when God said move, the gift of fighting back, and last but not least, the beautiful restoration that only God could provide. And so if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments section, what's one thing that you're grateful for this year that didn't look like a blessing at first? And again, if this message resonated with you, be sure to like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel for more faith-based content. And remember that God is still in the business of restoring. All right. Remember, once again, if you're everything to everyone, the risk being no one. You never know who you will inspire. See you in the next video.